I first learned about the lobby when I moved to Maine in 1987, and a friend of mine, Bambi Jones, was on the lobby board, and she said, "This is an organization I think you'd be interested in, so why don't you come to a meeting and see whether you'd like to join it and get on the board." And I rode up to my first meeting with Deb Dietrich, and we kind of instantly bonded on the trip up to Augusta from Portland. And I went to the meeting and I felt like, okay, these are my people. This just feels like the right place. It's a great organization that cares about women, that cares about girls, that cares about women's rights and women's issues. Many of my close friends today are people that I met when I was on the Women's Lobby Board. My name is Eleanor Goldberg, and I served on the Maine Women's Lobby Board, and I was chair from 1990 to 92. I was there when the Women's Leadership Development Institute was formed, which Karen Heck and Kathy Urban played a major role in. Yeah. And it was a way to do some grassroots organizing that wasn't specifically lobbying, and it was also a way to enable people to donate to the issues and have it be tax deductible. But the bigger reason that it was formed, the efforts around grassroots organizing could be expanded. The poster was put together to commemorate and celebrate the fact that the mammogram legislation came through. Yeah. Also to let physicians know that, you know, it was now covered by insurance. The gynecologist that I see has one of those posters in the bathroom at her office, which whenever I go in there, it's like, oh, isn't this great that it's still there? Because we sent them to lots of OBGYNs around the state. The birth of the Breakfast of Champions, which happened when I was chair. Karen Heck must have been the development director. I was sitting at my day job when I was talking to Karen on the phone, and we were just trying to cook up some scheme to raise some money. The Roe v. Wade anniversary was coming up, and we thought we should really do something to commemorate it, and what about this and what about that, and we came up with the idea of having a breakfast. And then we were just brainstorming and came up with the name Breakfast of Champions. We had protesters out in front, and it turned out to be a very successful event, and you know, they've been happening every year since, and now I know that there are 3 of them. And there are often hundreds of women attending, so that's great. We had passed the first sexual harassment legislation in the country. We also passed the first VDT screening, the requirement for people who worked at VDT screens to take a break. But the sexual harassment training was the first in the nation, and this was right at the time when Clarence Thomas was being nominated for the Supreme Court. And that generated a lot of publicity for the lobby, because we had been ahead of the curve, as the lobby often is. One of the other things that I remember is fighting parental consent legislation. Phone banking from the office that I worked at during the day, and having people come in and making the calls. And yeah. When I first got on the board, I was asked to join a committee. There was a committee that was planning the 10th anniversary. So I thought, great, I can work with other people to plan a party, and it was a great committee, and we had Nicole Hollander come from Chicago, who was just awesome, and I got to pick her up at the airport, and it was a great event and a lot of fun and very successful. I certainly went to the 20th anniversary celebration, which was fun, and I'm really looking forward to this one. This will be great.